empty spaces. What are we living for? Abandoned places. I guess we know the score. On and on. Does anybody know what we are looking for? Another hero, another mindless crime behind the curtain in the pantomime. Hold the line. Does anybody want to take it anymore? Show must go on. Show must go on. Inside my heart is breaking. My makeup may be flaking, but my smile still stays on. Whatever happens, I'll leave it all to chance. Another heartache, another failed romance. On and on. Does anybody know what we are living for? I guess I'm learning. I must be warmer now. I'll soon be turning round the corner now. Outside the dawn is breaking, but inside in the dark I'm aching to be free. Show must go on. Show must go on. Ooh, inside my heart is breaking. My makeup may be flaking, but my smile still stays on. My soul is painted like the wings of butterflies. Fairy tales of yesterday will grow but never die. I can fly on my wings. Show must go on. Oh yeah. Show must go on. I'll face it with a grin. I'll never give it in. Oh, it will I'll top the bill, I'll overkill. I have to find the will to carry on. Show must go
feel like I'm 15 again, playing to YouTube videos in my bedroom.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Bands Across the Water. I am here this week, Sunday. We made it through another week. Today is the last day of January. I'm excited to be here. I had some technical difficulties with my pal Johnny Rab from last week, the drummer from Collective Soul. We ended up having a really nice conversation off air afterwards, but I could not get the technology to work. However, I do believe my guest and I may have figured it out tonight. So I was having the same issues. I was getting a little discouraged, but I think we figured it out, and I'm happy to say that I have a show tonight. So no canceling this evening. Are you excited about that? Yeah, me too. All right, so Bands Across the Water, this is the show where I try to introduce you guys to a band, an artist, or a musician from either side of the Detroit River, shall we say, across the water. In North America, I like to get to the United States and Canada every other week if I can. Sometimes it doesn't logistically work out, but other times it does. So I am happy to be here with you guys tonight, and I want to thank you all for joining me, for bearing with all of my technology issues. I try my best. I do what I can, and I want to thank you guys for hanging out on Facebook, on Twitch, on YouTube. Be sure to head over to my Facebook page, Darren Curtis Drums. Like my page there. You can share this broadcast live as well, and you can head over to my YouTube channel, Darren Curtis Drums on YouTube, and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell as well. That's where you will know and find out every time that I come live on the show. And of course, twitch.tv/Darren Curtis Drums. You can find me there as well. And I see my buddy Westmix_EBX. That's Kevin checking in over there. And we also have Barb checking in over on Twitch. I have a friend, my good friend, Mr. Aaron Bensett, checking in on YouTube. Thanks, buddy. It's good to see you as well, checking in from London, Ontario, Canada tonight. So thank you guys for being here. I'm really excited to have you guys with me. I have a really special show tonight. I'm excited to tell you guys about it. So let me tell you first of all, who is on the show tonight? I have with me a friend of mine. We go back quite a long way, and we have a great story to tell all about it tonight, and I think you guys are going to find it quite interesting. His name is Kristopher Marentette. He plays in a band called J Sharp Major. He has a few other projects on the go as well that I will tell you guys all about it. You didn't hear the audience applause. Did you hear it that time? Tell me you heard the audience applause that time. Yes! Kristopher Marentette, we have a long story to tell, a long history to tell you guys about. It's a very cool and interesting story. My mom is over there on Facebook checking in. Hi, Mom. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Sandra and, of course, Barb. All you guys for checking in week after week. I really do appreciate it so much. Thank you for supporting this stream. I do the best that I can. I'm here hanging out in Westmix Studios here at the beautiful Sound Shop in Macomb, Michigan. Behind me, you can see a somewhat revamped room. You can't quite see the whole thing, but Kevin and I have spent a good chunk of time this week working extremely hard to get this room looking and sounding pristine. So this is my first broadcast from this room, and I'm excited to be here. So I say, without further ado, let's get right to my guest, shall we? Mr. Kristopher Marentette, I want to get you on camera here with me, so thank you so much for being here with me, Kristopher.
Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. Appreciate it so much.
Good to see you, man. It's been a little while, huh?
It has at that. I figured since you had my picture with my lovely hair and you have your lovely hair, I had to put the lovely hair down, to match. So.
Well, it's funny. Like when we meet up at 5:30 in the afternoon or in the evening, we're like in our pajamas, and it's like, oh yeah, I guess I should go put some pants on today. I gotta go live. Well, good. It's nice to see that you have your hair down and you're looking lovely as ever.
Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
So how are you doing? It's great to have you here. Sandra is checking in over on Twitch. Sandra Shaw, she says, "Hey, Chris."
Oh, hey, Sandra.
She tunes in often. She's a great supporter from Windsor as well. So that's the first thing I should mention. You are from Windsor, Ontario, yep. Canada. That is my home and native city. Born and raised. So how are you dealing with all of this stuff? Let's get right to that first. How are you coping through the music and getting yourself along? I want to get right into that, and then I want to go way back to some other stuff. But let's get to that. Sure. How are you dealing with this right now today?
Badly. Like a lot of us are. It's a bit of a struggle because, as a performer, all you want to do is perform, right? And when that ability has been taken away from you, then it's a tough pill to swallow. It's hard to go through the gig calendar for the year and just wipe it clean, Yeah. And we had a lot of really exciting shows with J Sharp Major. We had a lot of exciting shows with Us and Them, the Pink Floyd tribute. We had a lot of great, exciting stuff on the calendar that just got absolutely flushed,
obliterated.
So. Yeah, 100% obliterated. Mm-hmm. And all the musicians, that are in the area and elsewhere know what we're talking about. It's just been really disheartening. But what we have found, increasing both in legitimacy and as some kind of a method to be able to allow us to do what we do is what you're doing, is live streaming. We've seen a lot of artists really start to embrace the live streaming platforms, which I think is fantastic. It's giving, like I said, that air of legitimacy, and it allows us to keep doing what we do, right? I mean, right. You were a guest when I was doing this during the first half of the year,
yeah.
And that just started because I needed a place to keep my chops up, right? And I wanted to do some rehearsal, and a couple of people tuned in and said, "Oh, you should keep doing that."
Right.
So there we go.
Well, let's talk about that for a second because you're absolutely correct. And in fact, you were one of the first people that I know to actually kind of be sort of live streaming anything, let alone sort of a podcast talk show style show like this. You were like playing keys and singing and literally doing stuff live on streaming platforms long before I even knew what the heck Restream was or any of that stuff. I think even before I knew what Twitch was, you were already on there doing that. So,
well, it comes from a long history, actually. So I have a long history in audio broadcasting on the internet. So I run an internet radio station called RadioChaos.com. Shameless
shout
plug.
out. Yep, shout out. No, absolutely.
And it's actually been on the air since 2000.
Oh, wow.
So this will be its 21st year on the air. So that's one thing. But then doing the whole video production, that's a whole other matter altogether. But again, the amazing thing is that the time that we live in terms of technology, the technology is so accessible now that for a few $100 webcams and some free software. We're able to do what we do, and it became more of an experiment in boredom than anything else, and kind of gradually evolved to find its way into that interview talk show format that we ended up doing. So
right, and that was, I want to say, was that back in March, maybe? March?
Yeah, it went from March until July.
So I want to say I was on your show kind of early as a guest. I think like March or April. I think because I know that things were shut down and gigs were done, and I was actually set up here at the studio in the live room at the time, and that's where we did the interview from. And and even then, like our band at the time, we had just we were literally on our way to a gig, and we pretty much got railroaded and came back, and we started live streaming. But even at that point, you were still already doing it, before that time. Like you didn't just start doing this when the pandemic kicked in. You were kind of doing this before that.
Yeah, I was goofing around with a little bit of it. We had, where we would broadcast some of our rehearsals, or there is an interesting service that's kind of turned up now more prominently, I guess, is a service called Sessions Live. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I am familiar with it. I don't know. I haven't been to it to kind of access it or check it out, but I think you actually tagged me in something about it, and I checked it from that point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting online streaming service. It's like virtual busking for musicians, where they actually pay you.
Nice.
In addition to you getting tipped by your listeners, they will actually pay you to do your thing, and as you rise up the levels, your wage goes up.
Interesting.
And, it's something, right?
That's great.
In an era where there's nothing. So
exactly, yeah. So I just want to make sure we check in over on Facebook. Sean Fathers says hi, guys.
Hey, Sean.
I'm not sure who Sean Fathers is, but hello, Sean. Thank you for joining us. Is that a friend of yours?
Yeah, Sean is actually one of the pillars of the music community in terms of support. You will find him at every single show that's possible to go to.
So there's a good chance that I have met him at some show at some point or another in my lifetime.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
And then, of course, Chris Skirpa. I always mess his name up. Skrzippa. Chris.
The unofficial documentarian of the Windsor music scene.
That fella right there is like the absolute, he is, I remember like in the, I don't want to say, but I mean, a long time ago, I remember rolling into Windsor to play a gig, and he would be there every single time, and he was supporting always. And like, I swear to you, you would see pictures of Chris at venue A, venue B, venue C, venue D, all in the same night.
Yeah.
And literally from 9 till 2 a.m. Like, I don't know how he did it. He was everywhere helping and supporting every band and venue. So shout out to you, Chris. Thank you for being here. Paul Longden Music. Paul Longden says, hi, Chris.
He's a friend of mine that was the regular and will probably continue to be the regular Friday night guy at Karma Wine Bar in Tecumseh, which is located on Riverside Drive and Les Browns Road.
Very nice.
It's a lovely little establishment, very intimate, stellar choices of wine, and he is the regular Friday guy. And I've performed there quite often as well. So hey, Paul, how you doing?
Awesome. Well, that's great. Well, thanks for joining us, Paul. Appreciate it. Thanks to all you guys for being here, and I hope you're enjoying the show so far. So let's talk a little bit. First of all, I want to say you're absolutely right. This has become an outlet for a lot of different musicians, a lot of different people to sort of, and not just musicians. Like there's everything out there right now. Like you could literally search for just about any type of a busker type performance to tattoo artists to body piercings to you name it. There's everything out there right now that people can stream, and I think it's literally a way that people are finding to this creative outlet, and it's as much as we all want to be sweating and loud music and be in a room where we're busting against each other and having a good time, this has become now the next best thing, and it's sort of a necessary evil, I guess we'll say.
Well, it's also in the sense that creative types want to be creative, right? And so the technology has gotten to the point, like we were saying, where for a very, very small budget, you can create what looks like a high budget show and be able to get your message out there. You don't have to rely on content delivery mechanisms or servers or networks or whatever to push whatever message you have, right?
That's absolutely right. Yeah, that's great.
And I was just going to say, they said last year there was I think it was 79.2 billion hours of streamed video watched last year. In 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
Yeah,
huh?
crazy.
And to think it was mostly just for my show and your show. So
I know. I don't know which of the 79 billion you got and which half I got, but I'm just happy to be in there somewhere.
All right. Well, that's great. Well, hey, I wanted to you touched on it a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about Us and Them.
Sure, yeah.
Tell everybody about that. I wasn't actually thinking even about mentioning that, but you brought it up, and it's like, yes, of course. Let's please touch on that.
Sure, yeah. So my good friend Jim O'Neill, who's one of the guitar players in J Sharp Major, and I went to go see the Australian Pink Floyd show when it came to the Coliseum.
Nice.
And we're sitting there in the audience, and they were playing this tune, and I looked over at Jim. I'm like, well, I can do that. And then we playing another tune. Jim looks over at me and goes, well, I can do that. So at the end of the show, we just said, let's do that. So we decided that, J Sharp plays a lot of Pink Floyd as it is. And that's actually one of the things that we became kind of, known for was doing a really, really good job on Pink Floyd covers, just because we really love the band, right?
Sure.
In fact, it was at a fundraiser that we played at where Dan McDonald, who has his show on AM 800 and the Fabulous Here and Now series. He was at that show. We started playing it, and he wrote this glorious review of it.
Nice.
I couldn't even believe it, and all of that kind of spurred us toward doing it. We were lucky to find two incredibly talented backup singers. And their audition piece to get into this band was "Great Gig in the Sky." So
nice.
You want to put a vocalist on the hot seat to get that's their audition song.
Yeah, that's the one.
And they both nailed it. And we did one show. It was a sold out show, which shocked me. I was amazed. We were behind the curtain. We had it all done, curtain dividing us from the audience, and so we couldn't see anything. And then we had it where we started with the song "One of These Days," right? So it's got like that thumping bass line or whatever. And then as soon as the first drum crash hit, it was like kabuki style, pull down the curtain,
nice.
Right? And all of us just stopped for a second because it was just like this sea of people out there.
Right.
Yeah,
catch your breath. Yeah, absolutely.
And then
I heard about the sellout actually.
Well, it's because we had to get an album out. And then we shot our live. We shot a live concert at the Walkerville Theater, which was free for everybody to come, and that was pretty outstanding. We put that up on our website, and
nice.
That was our electronic press kit. And
that's
after releasing that, we just at the Walkerville.
Beautiful theater.
Yeah, it was. That was our press kit. When we released that, we started getting all these emails and phone calls from people, and we were set to go.
Awesome. Well, great. That's good. And I wish you guys a lot of luck. I know it's not, there's like zero market right now out there, but when things kick back in, man, it's looks like you guys were, getting things rolling, and it was on the right track for sure.
Yeah. we got a lot of positive feedback, and we were really excited about it. You know, it's a big project with a lot of people involved, right? A lot of moving parts. We have, in addition to, you know, your musicians and singers, we also had a video guy and a lighting guy.
Absolutely.
You know, we traveled with our own sound guy, so it was a big budget thing. So, you know, we were excited.
Right, yeah, and you kind of have to do that if you're going to try to cover Pink Floyd as a tribute. I mean, if you're going to play, you know, cover songs as a cover band, that's one thing. But if you're going to go out try to do it as a tribute, you have to go all in, especially a band like that, who doesn't really rely on what's happening with the performers on the stage more so than the production that's going on around them, you know.
Yeah,
it's not about
exactly.
David Gilmour running across the stage and doing backflips. It's really about him standing there and just melting your brain while you go, oh my gosh, you're just amazing, and the production and everything just falls right in line with all the amazingness, you know.
Yeah.
So you need all
and
that.
For us, it was to, you know, not rely on the existing animations and video work that was out there, but Lee, the other guitar player, and Jay Sharp, he took it upon himself to recreate or create new, you know, video animation sequences that we would then project as we were going. So, you know, it's that whole parcel that makes the show.
Yeah, that's great. Well, yeah, you need that. You need all of that stuff to make all the wheels go.
Yep.
So good luck. Yeah, I hope you can get back to gigging with that, and yeah, all of us hope we can get back to gigging. But yeah, I know that's a lot of work to put something like that together, and I know it wasn't for very long, right? You guys just sort of started getting your feet wet with it, and so I get it. So let me ask you this: the sax player that you have in J Sharp Major, is he with the Floyd tribute?
Yeah, and actually he was hired primarily for the Floyd tribute first.
I see.
And then we kind of said, when Jay Sharp first started, we were a trio, and one of the guys in the trio played flute,
right,
along with guitar, and it was this cool, unique thing that nobody else had.
For sure.
And our sax player now also plays the flute. So when we found out all these things, we're like, you know, you should really just embrace the Jay Sharp. That's what you should do.
Embrace the Sharp.
Yes.
Well, that's great. Everything that I've heard so far from both of those fellas, they're phenomenal players. So it's a perfect fit for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. I want to send a shout out to Cynthia and Melanie, who are checking in over there on Facebook. Thank you guys for hanging out. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. This is my friend Kristopher Marentette, plays in a band called J Sharp Major from Windsor, Ontario. Also Us and Them, a Pink Floyd tribute. The Canadian Pink Floyd tribute. Is that right?
That's it.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about you and I now. Let's kind of
Sure.
go. It goes back a long time, but I think it's actually a really interesting story, and it sort of came full circle when I was on your show. But for my listeners and the people that are here watching now, I would love to kind of reiterate all of that from sort of your perspective, which was much better than my perspective after I heard your perspective. My perspective was sort of like, loading in drums, setting up drums, tuning up drums, doing the oh, here comes the keyboard player. Hey, dude, what's up? All right, cool. More drums. Got to put the head up. And now the backdrop. We'll get to the head in a minute. I did get that picture, by the way.
Nice.
But so yeah, let's talk a little bit about how you and I sort of met and how our relationship as friends came to be a long time ago.
Sure. I'm going to give you the movie announcer voice. Ready?
I'm ready for it.
In a world long ago.
Perfect.
Yeah, so this is going back to when I was a wee lad of 13 years old, and I was at St. Anne's High School, and my buddy Dave LeBute, who was a senior at the time, and he is now a member of the incredibly successful Big Wiggle Band.
Nice.
He said to me, "Oh, there's a band that's looking for a keyboard player. Do you think that you might want to do it?" And I'm like, yeah. Would you like a moist towelette, sir? I was a squeaky little teenager, and my heroes at that point, and to some degree still are, Elton John and that kind of genre of music. And so, I was introduced to Randy.
Yes, that was the guitar player, Randy LaFrancois. Yes,
that's right, our good friend Randy. And he sent me some tapes of bands that you guys were going to be covering, and now it was unbeknownst to me that this was going to be like a metal band, right? So here I come in.
You're like, where's the Elton John?
Yeah, where's the Elton John songs? Okay, whatever. So it took me a moment to kind of get into it, and get over being totally afraid, because you guys were older than I was.
Couple of years.
And it was a little intimidating, right?
Sure.
Plus, I did not have a keyboard of my own, so
I mean that can be a little bit intimidating in itself as well.
Yeah, and so my uncle actually had this really old keyboard that weighed probably as much as I do now, and that was what I would do. It had 4 sounds. It had really terrible piano, really terrible organ, sort of terrible harpsichord, and I think sort of bad strings on it. And my job was to learn Runaway, The Final Countdown.
I mean,
and was there another one? I think it might have only been those 2 songs.
That's funny that you say that, because I was actually just telling this story to someone today, and I was trying to remember, was there a 3rd song? I feel like there was, but I can't put my head around what it was.
Yeah.
So, and if you don't know, then good Lord.
Yeah, it's so long ago.
Right.
And, I went out to a couple of rehearsals, or whatever, and kind of, got more and more nervous as time went on, because my first rehearsal, I showed up and here I am, I've got my jeans and my belt and my shirt nice and tucked in, as the tender city lad that I was, and I show up and you guys are all here with hair like I have now, and the concert tees and 3/4 length tees, and I'm just like, what is happening right now? Where am I?
How did I get here?
Yeah, how did I get here? But I think I could like it.
Well, if it's any consolation, my drums and me showed up there in the back of my mom's Ford Tempo. So, I mean, it wasn't all glamorous rock and roll, buddy.
My parents had to drive me in our Volkswagen Beetle.
Nice.
So I finally figured out that, I had one concert shirt that wasn't even mine. It was my uncle's. It was an Elton John shirt, and I wore that, and I lugged the keyboard up there, and all I remember is being terrified out of my mind. Because I had done, I was in classical piano, so I had done, recitals and things like that.
Right.
I hated them all. Because I wasn't interested in the music,
right?
And so therefore, I was just regurgitating by rote, and wasn't interesting. This I actually gave a crap about, and so it made me even more nervous, right?
Right, sure.
And I went out there, and fully expecting to screw the whole thing up, and I didn't screw it up, I don't think, which was kind of cool. And I have to say that, you guys were so wonderfully supportive, and kind and benevolent, when really you had every opportunity just to treat me like a what I still am, a nobody.
Welcome to the club, brother.
Yeah, but I mean,
you're somebody. We're all somebodies.
You guys were just so welcoming and encouraging and sympathetic, and I just remember I played that night, and at the end of the night, my parents came to pick me up. I was so tired, I immediately crawled in the back of the car and started to fall asleep, and we're driving away, and Randy runs up and he bangs on the window, and my dad kind of does one of these type of things, and Randy's like, oh, we forgot to pay you or something, and I'm like, I'm so tired.
You're like, I get paid for this?
I just want to go to bed. So, and then that was it. I never really saw you guys or heard from you guys after that, until I bumped into Randy and Sylvie at a show they were doing, and Randy comes up to me immediately and he goes, oh my God, are you Chris Marentette? And I'm like, yeah, how much money do I owe you?
And it turns out he owed you money, actually.
As it turns out, yeah, and he had shaved his head by this point, so like there's no way I remembered it all. And then Sylvie came up and we started having this amazing conversation talking about all the guys again, and it just, that night cemented for me that no matter what else I was doing in my life, live performance was going to be that for sure. So I have you guys to thank 100% for kicking me into gear with that, because like I said, it could have gone very differently had you guys not been as kind-hearted souls as you were.
That means a lot for me to hear that, actually, almost 35 years later. It really does, because I know that, music means a lot to you, and I know that I always have surrounded myself with, good people, and I've always been in this business for the right reasons and not for the wrong reasons, and supporting other musicians, hence the show. What I'm doing now, even still to this day, is a big part of who I am and a big part of who I want to be. And the kind of this many years later, and I'm still reaping the rewards of being a nice guy at a gig to the keyboard player, and little did I know at that time how much it meant to you. All I was doing was tearing down drums, and while you were falling asleep in the back of the car, I was probably packing up some drums.
Why is this kid crying on his keyboard? What's going on?
He only played 2 songs, for crying out loud.
God.
But that means that means a lot to me to hear that, because I know it means music means a lot to you, and it's been for you. It's been something that's been there, your whole life, and myself as well. So to be any part of that for anyone is really a lot, means a lot to me. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Let me see. What am I missing up here? My mom says, my mom's over on Facebook. She says, "True Canadians." You may possibly have met her back in those days, maybe, but she would have been the one to be driving me to the rehearsals in Stony Point back in those days.
Nice.
Yeah. Jinx, my buddy up in Toronto area, says, "Great shoe. It's a really great shoe.
A really big shoe."
Respect. He's a good dude. He always checks in. Jinx, thanks for being here, and thanks for always sharing the show whenever you get a chance. I always appreciate you guys for being supporting what we are doing here, because this is as good as we can get right now with the whole live vibe. So
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I want to do at this moment is I want to talk about the Reynolds rap. Shall we say? Let's talk about. We should write a song. You and I should write a song called Reynolds Rap, and it'll be a rap, and it'll be. We'll have a stage name Reynolds something. So before I get to this picture, tell me what you know about Reynolds Rap, because it's extremely vague and very distant for me. What the hell was going on there?
What you mean with what was going on in this picture?
Yeah, first of all, how did that even happen?
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
I remember Randy telling me that he had these grandiose ideas for this first, because Randy's a dyed-in-the-wool showman, right? He wants the pyro and the light show and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And so you have to remember, this was, your viewers have to remember, I'm sure you do, your viewers have to remember that this is back in the hair metal glam rock days, right? So there were all kinds of big extravagant sets, that were being constructed. And I remember him telling me that we're going to have this big extravagant thing. It was going to be like Dungeons and Dragons, right? Because the name of the band was Labyrinth.
Yeah, Labyrinth, right?
That's right. And so it had to have this Dungeons and Dragons-y kind of motif. And it turns out that there was going to be this dragon on the stage. And it just so happens that wherever I was standing, that the dragon was right where I was.
Which I'm actually a little jealous now, seeing the picture. I wish I was under the dragon head.
Yeah.
The Reynolds Rap dragon head. So I haven't showed the picture yet, but I'm going to.
If you plan on showing the picture, your viewers will have to remember that this was 35 some odd years ago. And I probably am as thin as one of my arms is right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is didn't end up being so much of a dragon as it was just a genetically awkward snake.
Yeah, with tinfoil head. All right, I'm going to show it. Here it is, you guys.
Okay.
So there's Kristopher at his big first gig, all with his Elton John rock shirt on that he borrowed from his uncle.
And my Ralph Macchio haircut.
Standing under the tinfoil dragon head at a Labyrinth concert. Yeah. Right? And that was in Stony Point at, what was the school?
It was a school, wasn't it?
Brebeuf, I think it was called. It was a French name. Yeah, it was a school right next door to the Canadian, the guitar player's house in Stony Point. Yep. There it is.
I just remember playing, you can't tell in that picture, I was so nervous. Just so nervous. And then I remember looking out at the audience, and there were girls.
Right? I know.
In the audience. And it was just weird. They were looking at us, and they were, some of them might have accidentally been looking at me, although they were probably looking at the snake.
It's a dragon. It was a dragon.
Oh, sorry, the dragon. They were probably looking at the dragon.
They were looking at the snake.
Yeah.
No, it was a dragon, Christopher. It was a dragon.
Yeah, better turn of phrase on your part there.
Oh my gosh, that's great. I love that thing.
But as far as cheesy independent acts go, that's not bad.
I mean,
I give them props for that. I really do.
I don't remember constructing it, but I feel like I kind of remember putting it up there. And then I think I remember us going, we're going to put the keyboard player right underneath this thing. It'll be perfect. No, I'm kidding.
Because he's only going to play 2 songs.
I mean, really, we got to do something for the guy. We were actually working on it so that you would fall out of the dragon's head, but it didn't. We didn't have the budget.
That's what the harness was for. Okay.
We didn't have the budget,
Understood. Probably for the best.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's great. Well, that is such a wonderful memory. That's got to be, I'm guessing, 85, 86.
Yeah,
something.
I'm thinking it was 86 because I was a young pup back then.
Yeah, and I wasn't much older, and you'll notice that I didn't actually pull up any pictures from me at that gig.
Yeah, how come I'm the only one that gets to live with the infamy of that gig?
Welcome to being the guest, my friend. I'm telling you, I even just not even looking at myself in the pictures, like the clothing and the spandex and the stuff. I mean, I had like a girder thing, like they toss the girder at a wedding,
Yeah.
I had one up here around my bicep, it was like lacy and like I'm all like cool, I'm looking at this thing. I got like leopard skin spandex pants on and a zebra shirt or something. I'm like, what kind of crazy wild animal is this, right?
So in retrospect, let me thank you for not having any pictures of that available.
That's what I'm saying. I'm doing y'all a favor. And I can't even get past the drums. I look at the drums and I can't even get past those. I'm like, oh my gosh, what in the world is that? Like, just weird stuff that I now wouldn't, I look at and go, oh my gosh, why were my toms like angled so weird? And, why is that cymbal like up there? Would I have to stand up on my tippy toes to get that? Like, I mean, if it was a dragon head, that'd be one thing. But a crash cymbal is a whole other thing. My buddy Aaron Bensett's telling back in the days, he's the guitar player from Aces Wild, which you may remember from my band, the original band. In the old days, we had a keyboard player, and it was real lighting back then. It wasn't LED lighting now. So the majority of your energy spent in the old days was on heat, not light. With 100%. Those fixtures, but yeah, it would get you could have 1,000-watt cans up there, and it was easily going to melt the buttons on a keyboard if the stage was a little too. And anyway, he's reminding me of how that used to happen from one of our lighting guys. He intentionally would leave that one white light on him long enough. The guy would look up and he would turn
a skillet with some eggs there, just frying them up before the gig.
A garter. My mother reminded me it's called a garter. Well, I haven't wore one since 1986. So. That's great. All right. So far so good. That was such a great memory. I had such a good time back in those days. That was kind of like the start for me, was the beginning of writing songs. We were writing original songs back then. I cannot for the life of me remember any of the titles of any of them. But Randy and I spent a lot of time together in that band writing songs and coming up with, of course we played covers because it's what you did at that age, but we were diving into our own original music, and I'm sure I could find a cassette tape out there somewhere that has, some recordings of original songs that we were working on back then. So it's the beginning of it all, For me, I guess it even goes back further. It goes back to like poems and stuff. That was kind of the beginning of songwriting for me was poetry. I at 5-6 years old writing poems and things like that. That's the beginning of it, right?
Well, it's interesting because I can remember distinctly the first time I pressed a key on the piano and it made a noise, and I remember the feeling that gave to me.
Right.
And then I started to realize, like, as I would press more keys, it was kind of like a language, right?
Right.
And then that I could figure out how to make those sounds into words and rhythms and things like that. And it was just like this Lego for your brain, mind-blowing experience. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And for drums too, they say is that and being, you know, a piano being a percussive instrument, that whole coordination thing is just a whole for your brain. It's such a good brain gym, I guess we'll call it. You know, good exercise for your brain. Okay, so I want to get into a song here. I want to start with the original song that you sent me.
Sure.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about that song? This has the sax player in it, right?
Yep. So
tell me about this song and how this came to be and what's going on with this. Yeah.
Sure. So this is the first track off what is going to be J Sharp Major's debut album of original material. They're songs that I've written in the past that then Lee and I have rewritten and rearranged, to kind of modernize them. My very good friend Mark Bertrand and I were the original sort of composers of a lot of these things, but Rest Stops and Amusements was the first song we chose just frankly because it was easy. It's just kind of a feel good jam in A, and but the lyrics were important. The lyrics were about the fact that when you listen to the chorus, it says we're going nowhere, but we'll stop at every. We're going nowhere, but we'll get there in style. It's sort of indicative of this society where we don't pay attention to anything. We just surround ourselves with all this glitz and toys and technology, and are to shield us from the reality that we don't really want to look at. Right?
Love it. Yeah.
And so this became the first track that's coming off of the 11 track album that is hopefully going to be finished in a couple months.
Awesome. Where are you doing most of your recording and your tracking and stuff at?
It's all being done at it's all being done at Riggy Media International. Walter Riggy is our engineer, and we love it there. It's a great place where you can just be like. I'm a gearhead, so I have lots of gear here. You're filming this in my studio,
right?
Where I can record. Myself. The snippet that you used on the promotional video for the show was from a scratch track that I was working on for the band.
Great.
But there's a time when as a creator, I just want to create, right? I don't want to turn knobs, and I don't want to be responsible for EQ and all. I just want to play the music.
Absolutely.
And that's what is really cool about being at Walters is it's the ability for us just to be creative.
Right. Awesome. That's great. So this song is called Rest Stops and Amusements?
Correct.
Awesome. Well, let's get to this song, guys. Check it out. Rest Stops and Amusements from J Sharp Major. My guest is Kristopher Marentette.
trail he's chasing that we're not sure who we take ourselves a human garden, precious seeds for some master plan. But the break we go, and we keep provoking, we're running out of arable land.
Rest Stops at Amusements by J. Sharp Major. My guest is Kristopher Marentette tonight. I'm happy to have him on the show. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves so far. I know I am. I'm having a great time. I wet my hair before the show, and I notice as it gets drier, it gets poofier. So, whatever. All right, I just want to let you guys know who's on the show next week. Check it out. That's right, folks. Next week I will be joined by Tom and Stuart from the band Crawl. Check it out next Sunday. Woo-hoo-hoo. Aye, aye, aye. That's right. Nice. That's right. I'm not sure what happened there, but next week I will be joined with Tom and Stuart from the band Crawl. Tonight I am joined with Mr. Kristopher Marentette from J Sharp Major. We just heard a great song from him. Let's bring him back on camera, shall we? Thank you, sir, for being here with us, Mr. Kristopher.
Thank you for having me.
Rest Stops and Amusements. That is a cool tune, buddy. Very cool.
Thanks, man.
You said it was easy, but it's not easy.
Well, I mean, compared to some of the ones that are on there, it's easy. I'm a big fan of prog and experimental rock, and so there's going to be a lot of stuff that's, weird.
Good. That's good. That's good. Sandra over there on Twitch, she says so good. She's referring to my
Sandra.
hair, but I think it's your song.
No, that's okay. We'll have a be both. It's your hair and the song.
No, it is. It's a great song. Very, very good. So good, she says.
Thanks, man.
And let's see. Jinx says very nice. My mom says great show. You guys are having lots of fun and memories. Yes, lots of memories too. That's
Yes.
true. Very true. We go back a
I
long
want my
time.
garter belt back.
I was thinking we kind of didn't see each other for a long time after that gig, basically, I would say,
Yeah.
right? A long time, kind of went like years. And the last time, or I guess the next time I saw you that I can remember anyway, was at a gig for 80s Inc. when I was playing in Windsor.
That's right.
And I swear to you, man, I would have walked right past you. I would have I think it was you said something to me, and if you wouldn't have said anything, because you understand, like you said,
Yeah.
the last time I saw you, your entire body was the size of your thigh now.
Yeah.
And now, I'm like, holy shit, you're that. No, there's no way. Like, how did that even? I mean, I didn't get that much bigger.
It's all in the water.
Is that what it is? Yeah. So I mean, and that was. I don't know, probably almost, I hate to say it, 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago or something that time now, maybe, when I saw you the last time. I don't remember. It's been a while still, though, but...
Well, it's hard, though, because, musicians, I have so many friends that are musicians and so many friends that are performers, and the problem is we're all performing all the time.
Right.
So it's these rare downtimes that we are able to kind of get out and see and support each other. So they're rare, but they're missed when we can't make them, for sure.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I really do look forward to the time when we can kind of get back on stage and to some level of normalcy. I'm not sure what that means now, but whatever that means, I don't really think there's a person, an entertainer, a performer, a musician out there that it doesn't miss that time with their audience. People think it's about, I miss being on stage. I miss, it's about that interaction with people. It's your band members. It's the crowd. It's,
Yep.
It's the staff. It's all the things. Like it's all one big picture that makes that whole thing hum. And you don't just miss that hour or 2 or 3 on the stage, but it's the whole package. It's everything that comes with it. And that's the interaction with the people and the crowd applause at the end of the song, even just whatever it is, that generic or that genuine human relationship that you gain from that type of environment is probably the one thing I miss more than anything.
Yeah, for sure. There's something about being, unless you're the Red Hot Chili Peppers, there's something about being emotionally naked on stage, right? where you are at your most vulnerable and you're giving of yourself, and when you have that return to you positively, there's nothing in the world like it, and it's very hard to not want to do it more.
Right, you're absolutely right. I agree 100%. Kevin Westmix EBX over there says that was awesome. He is absolutely right. He's catching up on your song, I think, is what I mean.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
So, yes, very good. Yeah, it's true. Jinx actually mentioned something about practicing. I mean, I've spent, and as I'm sure you have in your lifetime, countless hours on your instrument. Just you and your instrument, not without an audience, not without a, and honestly, that's what that's critical. The reward is that time that you spend bringing that hard work and bringing all of that to people and feeling the appreciation from them, in return.
Yeah.
So.
It's one of those, I kind of take umbrage at the fact when people say, and I'm guilty of it myself too, what are you doing tonight? Oh, I'm going to go out and play tonight, as opposed to using the word perform, because playing, while it is fun, there's a great deal of work that led up to that point, and a great deal of work at that point. You know, the people that say that, you know, it must be easy to get on stage and perform music in front of people, are people that have never been on stage to perform in front of people before. There are certainly people that approach it easier or have an easier time with it, but it doesn't mean that there hasn't been a mountain of work to get there.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
absolutely, and you're right. You're completely sort of vulnerable. You're emotionally, or you're naked at that point. You know, anything could go wrong. And that's like anything. That's like this show. You know, all of a sudden the technology could just say yeah, no, and you have to figure out how to adapt and how to cope and how to make your way through it. But at the end of the day, it's not about how many times that you fall, right? It's about how many times that you get back up again. So
for sure, yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's great. So let's see. We have another song. This is a cover song.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I want to play that right now. I think a great segue actually right now is the fact that we're talking about being vulnerable and playing in front of people. How do you feel about playing a song for us, Mr. Kristopher? Live right here. Are you up for that?
Yeah, I'm not real warmed up, but I can play you another tune that's going to come off the album, but it's kind of mellow.
That's cool. That's great. I'd love to hear an original song.
All right.
This is like never been heard before, huh?
I've played it a couple times on my stream, but you know, my stream's not as popular as yours is, so this was where the big audience is going to come in.
Well, I'm not sure that mine's any more popular. Kevin and I were talking, actually. We're going to change the name. We're going to call me Howard Dern. So.
Howard Dern. Bruce Dern might have something to say about that.
I don't care who he is. Who's Bruce anyway? What does he know? He's not Howard's brother.
Is this, can you hear the piano?
I can. I think you might want to bring it up a touch, maybe.
Okay.
Are you using the same vocal mic?
Yeah. Better or more?
No, I think you got it.
Okay.
I think you got it. That seemed okay.
We'll give it a shot and see what happens.
What's the name of the song?
This is called My Kind of Yellow.
My Kind of Yellow.
And it's about the idea that, you know, people, not getting into the whole transcendental meditation thing, but, you know, people say they give off auras or whatever, you know, and sometimes we have these wonderful descriptors that are attached to colors. Like there was that movie, I think it was Mask, where she's trying to describe to the guy who can't see what the color red is. So she takes a rock out of a boiling water and gives it, she's like, that's red.
Uh-huh.
And so we were talking about, you know, there's these varying types of colors, and yellow can be really harsh and annoying, but then it can be really, really mellow. And I said, you know, that's my kind of yellow.
Nice.
And then I went, oh, that's got a ring to it, and I kind of like that. Cool. So it started as a poem, and then one night just the melody came right away, and I couldn't ignore it anymore. So
I love the fact that you said it started as a poem, as we were just talking about how many songs start out as poems.
Yeah, with me, it's always lyrically first.
Is it? Yeah. I would say sometimes it's a melody will pop into my head. Sometimes it's a guitar riff will pop into my head, or lyrics. You know, just it's sort of all over the map with me.
Well, the point is you arrive there at the map.
Yeah,
at some point,
I guess
so it's good.
There is no magic formula or magic button that gets you there. It's just as long as you're doing it, you know. So
that's right.
Awesome. All right, My Kind of Yellow, huh?
That's it.
Awesome. Well, here it is. Kristopher Marentette playing an exclusive. I'm going to say this is an exclusive.
You can.
J Sharp Major Original live on Bands Across the Water. Here we go.
My kind of yellow, deep blue and green can be very serene, searching for something less mellow. You're the light and the life of the mid-morning sun, the lure of the gold buried in everyone, the perfect companion for this overcast and rainy day fellow. You're my kind of yellow. You're my kind of yellow. While you're in looking for the burn of a fiery red, or a black that can chill to the marrow. Gleam of a candle, you light up my room, a hurricane lamp in a world full of gloom, the luster of faith when I feel my horizon go narrow. You're my kind of yellow. My kind of yellow. Brown brings me down like the leaves in decay on the floor of some dark forest hollow. Your glow lets me know there's still hope to be found. Your daffodil garden that carpets the ground. An afternoon stroll in the cool of a dandelion meadow. You're my kind of yellow. Drinking the mellow. My kind of yellow. There you go. I hope the balance was okay on that.
I would say it was pretty good at my end. I mean, hey,
Cool, man.
for what we're doing here, for what it was, I think it was great. It was great. Nice job, buddy. Very well done.
Thanks, man.
That was great. Great song. I love the lyrics. I love everything about it. It was excellent.
Thanks.
Let's see. So Cynthia over there, she says he has a beautiful, chilling voice.
Oh,
She's right.
it's all it's the reverb.
Wait, can you do it again for me? Do it.
I sure can. That's the professional tricks that get the job done.
That's how.
Thank you, though. I appreciate that. Actually, my singing, has been an area of concern for me for the last little bit, and I actually posted something on Facebook a few days, or about a week and a half or so ago, that I'm strongly contemplating stopping.
Oh.
In the sense that I just don't feel like I'm able to do the kind of job that I think people deserve to hear. And you know, it's not fishing for compliments. It's not, you know, oh, woe is me kind of story. It's just, you know, you realize that, you know, you're getting older and you know, I may have overtaxed my voice, but to hear her say that it's very, I take that very much to heart. I thank you very much for that. It's great to hear.
And Cynthia has a daughter by the name of Melanie. Melanie is the artist behind a band called Nopacetic. She was my second episode. I have been fortunate enough to track some drums and other things with Melanie on some of her songs. Cynthia would know a good thing when she sees it because her daughter is also super awesome. So
nice.
Yeah, so Cynthia's an awesome supporter of not only her daughter, of myself, of live music, of Elsie Banks. So thank you, Cynthia. It means a lot to us.
Thank you.
Know that. And this is also a good segue from Sean Fathers over on Facebook. He says, and this is perfect for what we were just saying. He says, since we just heard of how amazing Chris can be, Chris tends to be way overly critical of his performance and his voice. Do you find you do this too, and how do you get over it? So I assume he's asking me. So the first thing I would say to Kristopher is that you know, the number one reason you're doing this isn't for anybody else. You're doing this for you. So if you feel that it's time for you to stop playing music, then that's, I think everyone would respect and understand that. But if you think it's because you're, not able to deliver for other people, well, then maybe you just have to do it for yourself and not kind of worry and hope that other people enjoy what you're doing. But
Right.
I can see the joy that you find in it. And honestly, I think if anyone that's watching right now, they heard what I just heard, they would all say the same thing, that it was fantastic. It was perfect. You know as well as anyone, if you're going to perform cover songs, don't go for songs that are going to be out of your wheelhouse. Stick to songs that are in your wheelhouse. We all have a wheelhouse. Yeah. Everyone does, right? So stick to that stuff, because to do anything other than that, you're going to put yourself in a more vulnerable situation with being uncomfortable, reaching for things. Might as well just try to find what works in your range and stick to it. And no sense in hurting yourself trying to, but if you're serious about it, like, there's tons of vocal lessons and breathing exercises and warm-ups. And, I could put you on the spot and say, do you ever warm up before a show? Do you ever warm up before?
Yeah.
Do you do any exercises to make your voice better? So don't give up. I think if you're ready to stop, then yeah. But otherwise, I see a great performer. I heard a great performance. I see someone that loves music the same way that I do. So if you decided you didn't want to do it for yourself, not for what you think you might not, be giving people.
That's fair enough.
Absolutely.
And I think Sean is correct, though, that we're all our harshest critics.
Absolutely.
Right. So there's someone who said, and the problem is I'm kind of known for being outside my wheelhouse. Right. So when I do my sessions show, I've got a list of like 600 songs that people can choose from that range anywhere from Christina Perry to
right, and that's different. Like I'm saying, if you're being hired to do a job at a place,
right,
then you stick to what you know. What you can do. But that's a whole different thing. I absolutely suggest and recommend pushing the envelope. No question about that. But when it comes to being paid to do something like that, but in that case, absolutely. And on your own, hey, when I'm jamming the drum kit, I'm trying stuff that I would probably never use in a song, or I'm trying things that push my limitations and challenge me, and and it's a whole other side of this that I love. I love to try to push myself and do things that I've never been able to do before. And you have those epiphanal. Have you found throughout your whole life as a musician, you have these moments where it's like, oh my gosh, I can do this thing that I never, couldn't do yesterday, but all of a sudden I can do it today, and it's this epiphanal moment where you just like, oh my gosh, wow.
And often it's like very reminiscent of that scene in The Matrix, right, where Morpheus looks at Neo and says, "Stop trying to hit me and just hit me." Right. It's when you get outside yourself and stop thinking about it so much, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there it is, we've got it.
Absolutely. And I think you also nailed it on the head in response to Sean. We are our worst critics. We really are. We tend to beat ourselves. I watch videos of me playing and I think, man, I can do better than that, and I can, and blah blah blah. And then somebody else might go, dude, that was amazing. What are you talking about? But I'm sitting there going, I don't know. I could have done that, or should have done that, but it's just how it is, and it's like a wave. That moment is here and it goes, and the next moment comes in and it goes, and they just, these. I have these ups and downs, and I have these great times and these bad times and these highs and these lows, but it all comes in waves. I do this because I love music and I love drums and I love to play, and I love, I could, if for some terrible reason, let's hope this never happens, if for some terrible reason we can never get back out on a stage and perform to people in that sense again, it's not going to stop me from still performing and moving forward and doing the things like we're doing now, or your live streaming performances and stuff like that. It's about what music does for your soul, and for me, personally, like, in your case too, so I can only hope that other people jump on board and enjoy what I'm doing. That's the blessing.
Yeah. And I think it makes it harder, for when that you have given what you would consider a subpar performance, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's not in the eyes of or the ear of the person that's listening, but that you could do better. Right. And then when you hear, praise for that performance, then you start to doubt, right? It's like, well, am I really, like, do people really get it? Or yeah. So all these things are things that you're barraged with, and if you suffer from a little bit of anxiety or self-deprecation or self-doubt, those things really feed on each other real fast.
Absolutely.
So
there's that vulnerability again of being
Yeah.
on a stage and being in front of people. It's the same thing. Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. That vulnerability. People think, you're up on a stage, you're comfortable, but no, there's that side of you that's still, man,
terrified.
I could have done better. Oh shoot, I screwed up that note, or I dropped a stick, I broke a stick. Oh geez, I knocked over my beer. No, wait, that's a whole other thing.
Will anyone notice if I just peed a little?
Only if they're staring at your snake.
It's a dragon, Brian. A dragon.
It's a dragon. Wait, put the reverb on. It's a dragon.
It's a dragon.
Why didn't we have that? You know what we had for reverb back in those days? It was like it wasn't reverb, it was for delay, but it was one of those tape echo. It was like a recording tape cassette that would record your voice as it went by, and then it would just record it on a tape backward.
Actually, Walter's got two of those. He's got the
Space
Echo unit.
Yeah, Space Echo.
Which is it's what the police used. You use that thing and you instantly sound like the police. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Still runs and still sounds great.
Step out of the car, sir. You mean like that?
No, like the band
I
of
know.
police.
I'm kidding.
But only when they get on stage and say, "Step out of the car, sir."
Get out of the car, long hair. Oh wait, that wasn't the police.
Close enough.
Right. My mom disagrees. She says we are hard on ourselves, and that's true. And I think that goes the same for anyone with doing anything. We tend to kind of over-critique ourselves. So it's very true.
Well, then I will wholeheartedly accept that compliment, Cynthia. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Cynthia. It's awesome. We appreciate all you guys for hanging out and being here and all of the kind words. If anyone has any questions or if you guys have any comments you want me to ask Kristopher, by all means, please fire away. I love to ask questions. I also try to find at least one moment where I can put people on the spot.
Yeah,
and
do it.
It hasn't happened yet. I haven't got it yet.
Good.
I thought maybe it might have been what was the third song that you played with my band on 1985, but I can't remember what the third song was. So how do I put you on the spot if I don't?
Yeah, that's not putting me on the spot. That's me jogging your memory.
And it didn't work. Yeah, so I don't know yet. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, let's get to another song, shall we? We got another song here to play.
Sure.
This one is a cover. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this one? You sent me the link yesterday, I think it was. So let's get to it, and we'll play the song. You tell me about it.
Sure, yeah. At one point, as my show was winding down, and the stupid thing is that I only stopped doing my show because I was supposed to be recalled to work. And
That's right.
I was doing a 5-hour show every day from 7 until midnight. And I when I got the recall back to work, I'm like, well, there's no way I can do both. Like, I can't do an 8 or 9 hour day and then come back and then do another 5 hours and still see my family and whatever.
For sure. Impossible.
So I ended the show because I had people booked 2 or 3 weeks in advance, and I didn't think it was fair to cancel on them without ample notice. So I packed all that in. But right before we started doing that, the things had eased up a bit. The restrictions had eased up a bit, and we were able to have the band over into the studio. So I decided that every Saturday night was going to be jam night. So we were going to have the J-Sharp guys come over. We had a 6-camera setup, all done through the computer. So you heard like board level audio. It was really, really slick. It turned out really well. And there were about 6 or 7 tunes that we ended up keeping out of that stream because they just sounded so good and we had so much fun doing it.
Right.
And this is a Pink Floyd tune, so you don't have to twist our arms very hard to play some Pink Floyd.
For sure. Awesome. All right, well, here it is, you guys. Check it out. This is Have a Cigar from J-Sharp Major. J Sharp Major right there with a cover of another Have a Cigar. I was going to say Have Another Cigar. Have a Cigar. Great job, you guys. That sounds great, man.
Thank you.
Well done. Well done. So during that break, we managed to have a little bit of a conversation, and I think I have graciously... I think Chris has graciously accepted the opportunity to play another song for us live if you guys wanted to hear that. Do you guys want to hear another song? Yes! They said yes. I know you can't hear them, Kristopher.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, we should put it out to a poll. You may be losing viewers if this...
No. If I am, sorry about their luck then. They don't know what they're missing. Awesome. Yeah, so let's Lena Frost says, I miss those.
That's my mom.
Your mom?
That's my mom.
She says, I miss those days.
As do I. She's the one that drove me to that gig.
Oh my gosh. Hi,
so
Mom.
many moons ago.
I was the drummer back in 1985 or 86.
I doubt she'll remember, but this was the gig in Stony Point when I was 13 with Uncle Pete's keyboard. Yeah. Yikes.
We'll see if she remembers. Jinx over there, he says, yes, more live.
More live. Okay. Well, I'll give you this. This choice, then. I want to do an Elton John tune, but I'll leave it up to you guys. Do you want to hear like typical Elton John or like rarity Elton John?
Oh, that's a good one. Let's leave it. What can we put? How can we do this? Let's say you put typical or you put rare in the comments.
Yeah. Or how about this?
Sean says authority song.
Shut up, Sean. You give a thumbs up, you like the video if you want something typical, and you heart the video if you want something...
There it is. A like for typical, rare. A heart for rare. So you guys in the comments are going to dictate what he's going to do here. Sounds good. Can you give us an idea of what a typical Elton John song might be?
Typical would be like, Tiny Dancer, that type of thing.
All right. And a not so typical?
Not so typical would be something like Greatest Discovery or Texan Love Song or something like that. Maybe Ticking. Songs that you don't hear all the time. Ticking's kind of long, so we...
Sandra over there in Twitch, she says, do something rare. He does all Elton John amazing.
Aww. This is getting expensive, Sandra, if I have to keep tipping you every time you say something nice like that.
Hey, this is my show, buddy. You don't have to tip anybody. That's
we need that little sound.
Sean says Daniel.
Oh yeah, Daniel would be typical.
So we got one for typical, we got one for rare. Barb Klein is asking, what's Chris's favorite? That's a great question.
Oh, my favorite is a rare one called The Greatest Discovery or Funeral for a Friend is probably my other favorite one, but that's probably a little long for you.
That's a great song. I love that song.
Yeah, we added that to our repertoire a little while ago, and when the full band gets together and does it, we do the full thing, the whole orchestration at the beginning and everything.
Love it. Awesome. So far, I guess we have one for rare and one for. Oh, Barb says do that one. She says do whichever one is your favorite. I think is what she said.
Do whatever one is my favorite. Okay. Well, most people aren't going to know this. This is a very early Elton John song, so. But Barb has spoken, and so therefore...
Well, when Barb speaks, we have to listen. Isn't that right, everyone?
Yes! Her last name is Hutton. All right.
And another thing? You know what we need to talk about? Wait, before you get all situated in there... I was just thinking about something. You and I did something earlier. You might have to come back over to your computer for a second. Sorry.
That's okay. For you, I'll do anything.
A little earlier, we were getting the show set up, and there was something in the screen on my way, and I couldn't quite figure out what was going on. So I'm like, Kristopher, you got something in the way in the top. Yeah, right there. I'm like, is it a monitor? What is that thing in the way? So he reaches up and he goes like this. And I'm like watching. I'm like, what the heck was that?
You mean this?
So he's got a sticky note with a smiley face on it sitting right there that it was in the way of his camera a little bit.
And it's a friendly reminder that when my wife is doing her sessions, she's a vocalist, so when she's doing her sessions, to turn the reverb on when she sings and turn the reverb off when she talks.
Like a good sound guy would do, right?
Right.
Well, I thought it was funny because anyone that has watched this show since day one, which was November 1st, which I want to give a shout out to my brother in Aces Wild, the old days, now in Abandoned Souls, James Todd. He was episode 1. He decided to walk the plank on the old Bands Across the Water ship for the first time. I knew I could rely on him, and I told him that I'm going to give a shout out to him in every show if I can. So there it is.
Nice.
But anyway, if you've been watching the show since day one, which all of you have, right? Yeah. That's all right.
I have.
Right. You would know that almost every episode I tend to forget to... I tend to leave my microphone muted, and I forget about it, and I go and have this whole conversation with my guest, and people are... Look at my mom already put in there, mute. So Chris has his reverb sticky note, and I have my own little sticky note on my computer that says unmute mic. So my guests and my viewers might realize that I'm getting pretty good at not muting my microphone anymore.
There you go. There you go. I also noticed you must be running Microsoft Windows 10 because you have run as admin on there as well.
Yes, I've learned that is also another way to help with keeping things, problem free, is to run it as the administrator. So I do.
That's my tech geek side coming through.
I love it. I love that you caught that. That was good. my mom's actually still telling me to check my mute button over there.
You've got the backup situation. You've got the sticky note and the mom. See, yeah.
Right. We'll just put that right there.
Oh,
Thanks,
there you
Mom.
go.
Love you, Mom.
Love it.
Awesome. Well, yes, I think we will do that then, shall we? Don't forget to turn your reverb on, and we'll get you to play another song. So we're pretty lucky here, guys. We got Kristopher to play a couple of songs for us live here in the studio, live here in the studio on the show. That's what I was trying to say.
And it's weird because this is like the first time I've done this since I made my proclamation, so it's even more unnerving.
And I love it. Yeah. I love it. I'm happy to be the wheel to help you, kind of a cog in the wheel to keep you going, brother.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, here, what are we doing? Did you tell us which song?
It's called The Greatest Discovery.
The Greatest Discovery, and this is Elton John, huh?
Yep.
This is the obscure, your favorite Elton John.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite track of his. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, bring it on. No pressure.
Peering out at tiny eyes, the grubby hands that grip the rail, wipe the window clean of frost as the morning air laid on the latch. His grubby hands slipped to one side, next door to the nursery just down the hall. A strange new sound you never heard before, a strange new sound that makes boys explode. You tread so neat, those little feet, amid the morning, a small heartbeat. So much excitement yesterday that must be rewarded, must be displayed. Large hands lift him through the air. Excited eyes contain him there. The eyes of those he loves and knows. What's this extra bed just here? His puzzled head tipped to one side. Amazement swims in those bright green eyes, glancing down upon this thing that makes strange sounds that sing. those silent happy seconds that surround the sound of this event, a parent's smile is made in moments they have made for you, a friend. And all you ever learned from them until you grew much older did not compare with when they said, this is your brand new brother. This is your brand new brother. This is your brand new brother.
All right. Well done. Well done. Awesome job.
Give a shout out to my brother Nathan. That song always reminds me of. I'm 4 years older than he was, and apart from wanting him to be named Arthur at the hospital, that song always reminds me of the feeling that I got when I realized that I had a companion, for the rest of my life was so pretty cool.
Ah, that's awesome. Well, that's for Nathan then. That's great. I love that. Well, see, I was the youngest of three, so all they saw was like, oh man, another little brother. How can we torment him?
Well, here's something funny, actually.
That's not true.
When they bring you to like the hospital room where they have all the babies in the beds, right?
Right.
And they're all in. Well, being 4 years old, I thought you could just pick whichever one you wanted, right? Like a vending machine of humans. So I tugged on my mom's sleeve and I was like, I want the one with the pointy head.
Oh, I wish we could find that poor little pointy head baby right now.
And apologize to
Apologize.
him for it,
I'm really sorry, pointy head baby. That's terrible. Your mom just said, and all you wanted was the baby with the pointy head.
There you go. See?
Mom just totally validated everything you just said right there.
That's it.
That's great. That's great. All right, I'm missing a couple of comments. My mom said, beautiful song.
Oh, it was.
It is, and you did a great job of it, my friend. Barb Klein, who is now over on Twitch, she's like all over. She covers all of. She's like she's like a Chris, in the venues, except on social streaming. She said very nice.
She's bumping your algorithm.
Right, that's right. That's important stuff. People don't realize. And then, of course, our dear friend Sandra over there said, great job, Chris. Love listening to you play.
Aw, I love listening to Sandra play, so it goes both ways.
I look forward to getting to hear her. I don't know that I've ever heard. Did she say it was Night Call? What was the name of her band? Night? Oh, shoot. Sandra, help me out. It was Night something. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but...
well, Sandra and I are both proud owners of this lovely beast up here, the Roland Juno DS88.
Ooh.
So that's how we initially became fans of each other, because of the Juno.
I'm sorry?
Because of the Juno.
No, I heard what you said. I'm just sorry that we're talking about keyboards right now.
Wow, you must be a drummer.
Oh, man. I am Night Shift. I said Night Call. Night Shift is the name of Sandra's band. Yes. I hope that we get a chance to see her. Have you ever seen Night Shift in Windsor?
I have not. I've seen Sandra play, but not. I don't think it was in that band. I think it was when she was still with June Collins.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good. That's good. I don't think I've ever seen her play before. So, but she's been a great supporter, and she's and for you as well. She's watching all of your streams, and she's always there supporting and commenting, and it really means a lot to us to have you guys.
It does.
No, I don't think Barb is asking if her band is an original band. I don't think they are. I think they're a cover band, if I'm not mistaken. So, but if you are an original band, let's get you on the show. Chop chop. Which let me put this out. Actually, let me put this out to people. I am always looking for more original bands and artists and musicians that want to be on the show. So if you know of anyone or if anyone listening wants to be on, by all means, please find me out there and send me a message or tag that band in the comments or something, and I will find out how to get them on the show. If you a particular band that you want to have on the show, I don't even know about them. let me know, and I'd love to get them as a guest on the show. So
Do it.
yeah,
Do it now.
That's right. I gotta get one of those. My fancy USB microphone, it doesn't have reverb. I gotta get me one of those. I have other things that you can't hear though. I have a like hand claps and other fancy sound effects. So
Well, see, we're just fancy in different ways.
we're so
You've got the
fancy.
you have the evening dress, but I have the elbow gloves. That's how it works.
There we go. Oh, good. Well, Sandra says that they do have a couple of songs that they are currently working on, so that's good. She says they're a cover band, but they are working on some original songs. Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you, Jinx. I appreciate that. Great job. He says, great job, guys. Much love to all. I appreciate that, my friend.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to have you here joining us. So on that note, why don't you tell me like all of the social links and all of the stuff wherever we can find whatever it is you want us to find.
Sure.
Maybe some nice pictures of you with a tinfoil dragon or whatever it is.
That's coming up in my new coffee table book, Memoirs from My Youth.
Please tell us where to find you online and all of your good stuff.
Yeah. You can check us out at jsharpmajor.com. So it's the letter J, the word sharp, the word major.com. From there, you can see all the places we won't be playing anytime soon. And you can buy some swag like this lovely, quite affordable and stylish hoodie. You can check out the Pink Floyd project at usandthem.ca. So it's all spelled out, US, and ANDTHEM.ca. And then, that's really all that's important. If you like, you can check out my sessions stream as well, which would be sessionslive.com/Tophocles. I'll put all these in as comments on the video if that it'll probably help.
Please do. Yes, please do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Great. Well, it has been so great to have you on the show, my friend. I think we will probably wrap it up here. We got all your socials. Please do put those in the comments. If anyone is listening and anyone actually can do that for us right now, that would be wonderful. Tend to have someone likes to help out a little bit in the comments. So otherwise, I appreciate you for being on the show, and I look forward to more stuff from you. I look forward to hearing, you said this is going to be an 11-song album?
Yeah, 11 songs, and it's we have 2 more to go in and do the tracking on, and it's just COVID has just been absolutely a nightmare to try to get any of this stuff organized.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, we have 2 songs left to do that way, and then we have to go in and do the final mixing and mastering. Sorry, I'm looking over this way because I'm typing in the URLs as I'm doing this.
Yeah, that's okay. I see you got the J Sharp one up there on the Facebook.
Yep.
Awesome.
And then I'll do my sessions one as well.
Yeah, and the sessions one as well. And that's cool. I'd like to look into that sessions, and maybe you and I can talk about that maybe a little bit another time. What that's about, and get a little bit more involved in that as well. It sounds like a really neat thing. So.
Yeah, it is. It's super neat. I mean, I have friends on there that are making $650 US a week.
That's fantastic. Good for
playing
them.
music.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's great.
Awesome. I'd love to look into that stuff. Barb was getting some links. She was going to put them up, but you beat her to it. Well, thank you, Barb. We appreciate your help. Absolutely, as always. Well, that's great. Thank you for that. I do want to look into that with you a little bit more. We'll talk about that another time for sure. But in the meantime, best of luck with the remaining tracking and with getting this album out. I know it's difficult. I completely understand. We're going through the same but different type of thing here. We're working on our 4th record right now. And it's not easy, and it's not, moving forward as best as we can right now. And I applaud you guys for continuing to do this, and you, Mister, keep going. Don't stop. You're doing great, and I think most people would agree. So, and just do it for you, because it's all in here.
All right, brother.
So thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you. He says a great show. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. I appreciate it. In the meantime, stick around for one more minute with me, you guys. Christopher, pleasure as always, and we'll get you back on the show when we get this album out. How's that sound?
Thank you so much. That would be wonderful. Thank you for doing this and shining a light on independent artists, because it's too often that we get just lost in the sea of commercial stuff. So what you're doing is amazing, and I really take my hat off and I applaud you for doing it.
Well, thank you, and I applaud you as well. You were definitely an inspiration in the whole idea of jumping in with both feet to going live streaming, because you were sort of the grandfather in this, as far as I'm concerned, because I didn't see anybody else doing it before you. So kudos to you for giving us some reason and some incentive to want to pursue this as well. So, and I appreciate that.
Look how Canadian we are. Just kudos to you. No, kudos to you. No, you're better. No, you're good. No, you're better.
That's good. I like that. That's true. That's true. There's nothing wrong with that, right? That's good stuff.
Not at all.
Awesome. Well, thank you, sir. It's great to have you on the show, and I look forward to doing it again. We'll you stick around. I'll talk to you after this session is out. Thanks. Kristopher Marentette, you guys. Thank you for being on the show. I hope you guys had a good time tonight. I'm glad that the technology gods were on my side. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Barb and Sandra and Kevin and my mom and Jinx and Sean Fathers. Thank you for joining. I hope you guys come back and see the show again. I am live every Sunday night at 7 o'clock, technology permitting, which is always its own thing. And let's not forget, coming up next week, I have my friend Tom and Stuart from the band Crawl. That's right, Crawl. Tom and Stuart from Crawl will be with me on the show. It's actually going to be the first time ever. I'm going to try. I'm hoping, technology gods. I'm hoping this is going to be the first time I'm actually going to have two guests. Two guests on the show with me. One checking in from Toronto, Stuart, and my buddy Tom, the drummer for Crawl, checking in from Windsor. So I'm really hoping... I'm really hoping everything goes well for me next week. I learned something this week. I learned why I had a problem last week with Johnny Rabb, and I think I have the solution. And at this point, I have Johnny Rabb from Collective Soul rebooked to be on the show on February 21st. So coming up, and I have a lot of great shows coming up for the rest of this month. So please join me at Bands Across the Water right here on Darren Curtis Drums on Facebook, Darren Curtis Drums on YouTube, and of course twitch.tv/Darren Curtis Drums. You can find me there. Please also remember to share, like, donate, whatever you can do to help this stream and help my cause and help all of these original artists to get their music out there. Anything you can do, I appreciate. Any donation, anything at all, it helps. So I appreciate you all for being here. Until next time, my buddy Aaron Bensett over there on YouTube, thank you, my friend. I miss you, and I appreciate you joining me as always. So in the meantime, you guys, next week, Sunday at 7, join me. I will have my friend Tom and Stuart. I'm preoccupied. That's why I sound like I'm preoccupied. From the band Crawl, they will join me. And I hope you guys will join me as well. In the meantime, thank you to Kristopher Marentette for being here. As always, another wonderful guest. I'm so happy to have some amazing guests on the show. It really is something, these people that I'm getting to talk to. I'm having as much fun as they are, I think. So anyway, you guys, take care. Peace. Much love to you all. Bands Across the Water next week. We'll see you then.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh no! Oh yeah!